I am nobody, but you listen to me. Brand new mercies every morning I see. Oh, happy day, you have taken my sins away. Lord, you set your love on me, set your love on me, and you shine your light on me, shine your light on me. Lord, you set your love on me, set your love on me, yeah. And I can say that I am blessed.
Hi, good evening. My name is Wahab Nuruddin. I'm the president for Teresa Naomi Foundation. Today happens to be day 4 of our stay here in Wokoi. Over the past few days, we've been working on our IT and library projects. Today is just the day before the grand finale, so we decided to entertain ourselves with bobobo and movie nights. We've had the bobobo section already. Behind me, as you can see, we are having the movie night. Our ladies and women of the Wokoi community are also preparing some popcorn for us for the movie night. Hopefully, if God opens us tomorrow, we'll crown it all with the opening of our new IT and library. Okay, so stay in touch with us, stay tuned, and then we'll give you all the updates as our program unfolds for this year's Teresa Naomi Memorial Day. Thank you.
I am nobody, but you listen to me. Brand new mercies every morning I see. Oh, happy day, you have taken my sins away. Lord, you set your love on me, set your love on me, and you shine your light on me, shine your light on me. Lord, you set your love on me, set your love on me, yeah.
And now we're going to call the leader of the NGO, Teresa Naomi Foundation, to give us.
But as I already say, can you know to be Nana, Alumiafa, Nyapa, baby, thank you. Yes,
Address delivered by the District Director of Education, Mrs. Isabella Ayume, Northtown, and the commissioning of ICT laboratory and library renovated and furnished by Teresa Naomi Foundation for Wokweki Basic School on 20th September 2025. Madam Chairperson, Honorable Assemblyman, Wokweki Electoral Area, Togiwo Mamao, the founder.
English, math, library, and IT lab for the Wakoi DA school. Okay, so in this side we have our JHS. Okay, so from JHS 1 to JHS 3, you have all the subjects: English, math, science, French, religious and moral studies, everything for junior high school in this section. Okay, if all right, for this section we have other books like story books. We have the Holy Bible also here. We have story books like Things Fall Apart from Chinua Achebe. So we have ones for the elderly ones. We have them even in our local languages like Tree. We'll make sure that the next time we come, we definitely get the Ewe books as well here. So this for the general section. All right, let's go to. So this section is for, you know, the more practical courses like creative arts, ICT, etc. So those ones are here. We have a lot of work books, things that are more practical for them to use. Okay, yeah, we'll come to that. So over here too, we have still on the same practical ones, creative courses, world map, things that you can use to explore. They are not necessarily in the curriculum, but they are also very vital for their education. And then the last but not the least, we have this knowledge science around. It's just to give them more photographic things about what they are. The directory, so them. Okay, so we're able to get them the Apple, we're able to get them the Windows, we're able to get them the Linux as well, to make sure that they are not left out. Okay, so they have over here, you see an internet router. Okay, this is supposed to make sure that they have access to internet. Okay, so all you need is a SIM card, load it with your bundle, and all of these computers will be connected to the internet. I know the internet is limited over here, but we'll see how best we can also improve on that. Okay, we also have offline encyclopedia.
Please, am I audible?
Yes, please, we can all hear you. Good evening.
Okay. Okay. Let me just increase my volume a bit. So sorry about that. So good evening, everyone, once again, and welcome to today's webinar on the menstrual and mental health. My name is Jennifer Ado. I'm the president of Naomi Girl Power and also the vice president of Teresa Naomi Foundation. I'm honored today to be your moderator for this important conversation. So today we are creating a safe space to learn, share, understand, and connect and see the connection between menstrual and mental health. I'm sure a lot of you guys don't even know that there's like a connection between those two. Okay, so usually these topics are overlooked, but it affects many girls and women every day. So we are excited to have you all here, and we encourage everyone to participate, take notes, and engage respectfully throughout the section. We'll be taking questions later. So if you have any questions, you can just drop them in the chat box as we go on. Before we begin, I would like to also introduce the organization behind this initiative, which is Teresa Naomi Foundation. We are an educational based foundation. We seek to focus on helping the less privileged with books, with scholarships, building of computer labs, and library. Whilst we have Naomi Girl Power, which is like a sub of Teresa Naomi Foundation, which focuses more on the young girls. Okay, so you may ask that what is Naomi Girl Power? Naomi Girl Power is an initiative committed to empowering girls and young women through education, mentorship, advocacy, and community support. We have been in existence for 3 years, and through conversations like this, Naomi Girl Power seeks to raise awareness on issues affecting girls, issues like menstrual hygiene, mental health, self esteem, or overall well being. The goal is to ensure that every girl feels informed, supported, confident, and empowered to thrive. As Naomi Girl Power, we believe that when you empower girls, they become confident and they also become future leaders. That is why we continue to create platforms like this for education, to support, and also open conversations around issues that matter to girls and women. And some of these issues are things that the women or the ladies don't have the confidence to say in public. Most of us shy away from them. Okay. And we've been donating menstrual kits, which includes pads and hot water bottle to girls in schools for 3 years now. Sorry, I have a little bit of noisy background. Okay. So back to why we are here. So before I introduce the speaker, I would like to introduce her. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you our speaker. She's Lion Gloria Sarkodie Ado. She's a nurse with over 25 years of experience. Okay. And sorry. Okay, and she also has experience in mental health with expertise in community mental health, clinical practice, counseling, psychology, rehabilitation, and mental health advocacy. She's also a past second vice president of Accra Zenith Lions Club. So, in case you hear us calling her Lion, Lion, in case you hear us calling her Lion Gloria, it means that is her title. Okay, so it means Lion from the Lions Club, so Lion Gloria. So I think as we speak, that is what we'll be calling her as we go on. And she's also an award-winning counselor, psychologist, clinical nurse specialist, and also a respected mental health specialist who has dedicated her career to improving mental health care and awareness in Ghana. And she's also a Naomi Girl Power volunteer. So we are truly excited to learn from her today. Please join me in warmly welcoming Lion Gloria Sakodie Ado. You're welcome, ma.
Thank you so much for this beautiful introduction. It's a
You're
real privilege
welcome.
to, yes, it's a real privilege to serve in this committee and then at the same time talk to our young ladies, not just them, but everybody should listen, learn, and support the girl during menstruation. I think it's a good initiative and people should keep on sharing so that together we learn. Yeah. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, so this evening, like you mentioned earlier on, we will talk about mental health and menstruation. This is one area of health and daily life that we tend to forget. Meanwhile, it is part of our living. Before a girl can transit into a woman, you need to go through this as part of the translation period. But we don't talk about it. So today, we will look at it. Please, the next slide. Today, we will look at it very well, and then we will look at what menstruation is, how to calculate your menses as a young girl or a woman, common signs and symptoms during our period, why period affect mood and body. We also look at menstrual hygiene. We also look at period products and how to use them, and so many myths and facts surrounding period. And then finally, when something feels off, what to do, where to go. Those are the things we look at this evening. So, one simple truth that we all need to know is that menstruation is the same as period, depending on where you grew up and how you hear people mention. So, we will be mentioning them interchangeably. And this is simply a monthly shedding of blood from the lining of the uterus. So every woman we all know, a girl, a woman, have uterus as part of the reproductive system. And within it is a lining. This lining is mainly made up of tissue. Okay. It is completely very normal and a biological process for every lady. And this makes you or mark you as a growing young person who experiences menses. So people assigned female at birth. Typically, we all know that from the age of 9 to 16 years, you can menstruate. But times are changing. Now we have as young as 8 years menstruating and as late as 17. Anything above or below those numbers, then you have to see a gynecologist to come in. How often do we experience menses? So this is where the cycle comes in. Every once in 21 or 35 days, usually about once a month. But when we get to the side where the calculation is, you realize that those within the 25 and 28 days are likely to menstruate at least twice in a month. And how long do we have our periods? So for some people, it is 2 days. Other people, it is 7 days in each cycle. So if you have 2 days, don't be worried that the days are too short. No, it is normal depending on your cycle. If you also have 5 days, it is also very normal depending on your cycle. A period, I want my young ladies and girls to know that a period is not a sickness, neither is it a curse nor something should to be ashamed of. I remember while I was growing up in my 13th year age, that was when I had my menses. And we were told that when you see blood in your pant, it means you have broken your virginity. So surprisingly, I saw the blood in my pant and was even scared to discuss with any adult just because I was afraid that everybody would tell me that I'm a bad girl because there is blood in my pants. I was so ashamed of myself that, hey, why should such a thing happen to me? So, whilst growing, I realized that no, it was rather very normal to get some of these things. So do I tell my girls, when you see blood in your panty within the ages of 9 to 16, it is a normal biological change and you shouldn't be shy to talk about it. We'll talk about the menstrual cycle. So this one has four phases. When I say four phases, it means that it comes in four shades. The first one is menstruation. This is where there is blood. This is where you see the blood in your panty. So day 1 to 5 is normal for a lot of people. And within this day 1 to 5, that is where we have the uterine lining shedding the blood. And then we have the follicular stage. With this, it lasts between 1 to 13 days. So what happens here? Ovaries prepare to release an egg. So we have this finger-like structure that tends to pick matured eggs every month. When it picks the matured egg, it walks through your fallopian tube, then it gets into your uterus. This is what we call the follicular stage. And then the third phase is ovulation. So ovulation is the 14th day after the day of your first menses. And with ovulation, it means that a matured egg is released. Therefore, fertility is very high. Simply means that when this matured egg is released and you have sex with somebody, it is likely that you can be pregnant. And then the fourth phase, which happens to be the luteal stage, is within 15 to 28 days of your menses. Here, your body prepares for pregnancy. Okay? And this is where, if you don't take time and you have unprotected sex as a young girl, you will tend to end up with teenage pregnancy. The information you need to have here is that the average full cycle is mainly 28 days, but it also differs for others. Some have 21 and some have 35 days. All these days are very normal and there is nothing to be scared of. The cycle is simply calculated this way. Day 1 of your cycle is the first day of your period. Now, how do we calculate your menstrual cycle? So, the calculation is always a problem for a lot of people because they don't know what to do, they don't know where to calculate from, and they don't even know how to start the whole thing. The first step is day 1. So let's assume that today is first and I happen to have my menses. I will mark down that day as day 1 and then write down the date somewhere because we keep on forgetting so easily. And then the first day you see the blood still maintains your day 1. Then the next step is that you track your next period. How do you do that? You count from the day 1 to the next time you see another blood. So you track your next period and note the first day of your next period tends to be your first cycle. Then we come to stage 3 or step 3. This is when you count the days. So you count from day 1 of the first period to day 1 of the next period. And that gives you an accurate cycle length. So, for example, I have a 28-day cycle. Day 1, let's assume today is 1st May. I happen to bleed from 1st May. It is likely that because my cycle is 28 days, on 28th of May, another blood will drop. And in calculating this, monitoring this for over months, you will be able to know the exact cycle. This is where our young girls normally complain that my date is not static, it keeps on changing. Yes, it will change because of the kind of cycle you have. Now, what are some of the basic tools you can use to track your period? Technology has taught us so much. But in the olden days, what people normally do is to use a very simple calendar. So, with a simple calendar, you circle the day you see the blood. And then, if it's 5 days, you circle day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. And then the next time the menses come again, you circle. So, you go and count from day 1. That tells you that no, this is a very good tool for tracking. Then we also have the period diary. So most young girl or women of today keep diaries where they try to write everything that happens to them. So you keep a very simple notebook or planner. You mark the first day of your menses till the last day, and then your next period in the next month. This will help you to calculate your menstruation very well. And in our digital age, people have various free apps on their phone that gives them, we have the Clue, the Flow, the Period Tracker, and all those are free apps that will help you to even predict your next cycle depending on the information you put in there. Others also use simple Excel or spreadsheet. So here they get visual learners. They log in the dates, they write it there, and then it calculates for them automatically, knowing the cycle. Then we have the body awareness. So, with the body awareness, this is where your body gives you certain signals that there are changes in your system. And it is likely that these changes will automatically lead to your menses. So, you have to learn the signals. For example, some people start bloating all of a sudden, some have sudden mood changes, others will have discharges in their vagina, others will also feel a bit warm and slightly pale. All those are body awareness that is giving you an indication that you are likely to menstruate within few days. Now we move to common period symptoms. So because we differ as individuals, we may not feel the same signs and symptoms. However, you need to pay attention to certain signs indicating that you will be in your menses. The first physical sign I can talk of is the cramps. This is where we call the lower abdominal pain. Some even feel the pain at their back. It's not so severe. It's slightly uncomfortable, but it's a sign that you are either about menstruating or you menstruate instantly. Then we have bloating and water retention. So this is where you see some people having some parts of their body swollen. Meanwhile, they are not sick, nothing has choked them or bite them, but there is this sudden bloating. Then we have breast tenderness. This is where our young girls, women have heavier and you know difficult, they have very heavy breast. It becomes so heavy for them to the extent that some will complain of even chest pain and severe back pain. Then we have headaches and migraine. So others have this on and off headaches. They will take paracetamol or any other pain relievers. It goes off, but it still comes back again. Others also experience migraine. So with migraine, it's just a portion or part of the head that aches. It could be frontal, it could be side and side, or even the back of your head. Others also have fatigue. The slightest work or walk they do, they feel extremely tired with low energies. Others also have nausea, the urge to vomit. They've not taken in anything that could lead to that vomiting, but because it's a sign, it's an indication that there are changes happening in your body, it gives them that sign. Others experience diarrhea and constipation. Yes, they might have not eaten any infected food or any food that could lead to diarrhea or constipation, but all of a sudden it gets to that. Some even have skin breaks and acne. So, with the acne, a lot of people experience this acne. You see the young girl all of a sudden pimples all over the face, and that's when they get worried because the appearance is very important for them. In that case, you see them using so many things to clear off the pimples. They are only physiological symptoms indicating that you are or will be in your menses. Those are the physical signs and symptoms. Emotionally, because they have feeling attached to some of the symptoms, some will have mood swings. So you happen to be at home with your senior sister or junior sister who happens to be in her menses. All of a sudden, mood changes. You see her very excited about 1 hour ago. The next few minutes, she's angry. she doesn't want to be with anybody, she doesn't want to talk to anybody. It doesn't mean that you've done her something wrong. What it means is that she's experiencing those emotional symptoms associated with menstruation. Then there is irritability and anger. They are easily angered and agitated. They feel very anxious of what will happen, or the feeling of nervousness. So, like the example I gave, the anxiety. If I talk to somebody, what would they say? What will people think, that I'm a bad girl? The fear of unknown. Is this a one-time bleeding, or it will come again? This anxiety lead to so much worry among our young ones. And then difficulty concentration. So with difficulty concentrating, you'll be in class, and because you don't know when your menses will even come, the slightest time, you are paying attention to the body, not what the teacher is teaching. You may find yourself somewhere, you are not paying attention to whatever you may be doing, because you are paying so much attention to what will be happening in your body. Therefore, it makes it difficult for you to concentrate. It also leads, sometimes there is low self-esteem, especially those in the low or poor resourced areas where they tend not to use sanitary pad or any hygienic products during menses. They have this low self-esteem when you are talking to other girls. So other girls tell you, for me, um I use sanitary pad A, sanitary pad B, sanitary pad C. And for you, because you use any other thing, you can't be comfortable to talk about it. It leads to low self esteem. Then some people also have cravings for certain foods. So that's where they want to eat a lot of sugary foods, taking drinks, taking meat, fish, a lot of sweets. It's not them, it is the system that is craving for those foods. Then there is feeling of, they feel overwhelmed. So they get so confused, they are worried, they are overwhelmed, they don't understand what is happening to them. And in instances where they don't even know who to talk to, they get so exhausted. But please just know that the signs and symptoms I've mentioned up here are normal. But when they are very severe, this is where you need a professional help to come in to aid or assist you go through your period successfully. The next question is, why periods affect our mood and our body? Because it is within us as humans, because it is part of biological processes. It will definitely affect some part of your body or even your mood. And all you need to know is that it's all about hormones, hormonal changes, hormonal imbalances, and this will lead to those unexcitement, unhappiness, those bad moods. You don't even understand yourself. So, your menstrual cycle is driven by four hormones. You should all know this. These are what you need to know as a young girl, is that for your menstrual cycle to come very well, it depends on four hormones. And the rise and fall of these hormones will automatically affect either your body or your mood. And this normally comes every month. So you should expect them that at the end of every month, or within or even the beginning, you are likely to have this mood, you know, in fluctuations, and it can directly affect everything you do, from the way you feel, from the way you perform, and even from the way you react to situations. The four hormones include: one, estrogen. So with the estrogen, we all know that estrogen boosts your mood. It helps with energy. It helps your skin to equally glow. And then highest, it becomes more in your system before you are able to even go through a successful ovulation. So that is the first hormone you need to know, that as a young girl, when it goes up, then you are about menstruating. The second one is progesterone. So with the progesterone, these are the hormones that normally causes bloating, the changes, our mood, the fatigue even before the periods. When there is imbalance of this progesterone in your system, automatically it leads to mood fluctuations. Then the third hormone we can talk of is the FSH or LH. When we say FSH, it's follicle stimulating hormones. Those are a bit technical, but just know that there is a hormone called FSH and LH. Okay. And this trigger ovulation. How does it trigger? When they are in shape, when they are neutralized, when they are normal, it leads to a proper ovulation. But if they are not balanced, that is where you have challenges with on and off period. So it trigger ovulation. And then we know that a surge can cause a brief energy, or sometimes it makes your confidence a bit high or low. The fourth hormone is the prostaglandins. So with the prostaglandins, they normally cause that abdominal discomfort, that uterine cramps, that pain that you normally feel within your abdomen. And when it's more higher, it simply means that you experience more pain. So, in short, the imbalance of these four hormones will lead to a better menstruation, a better ovulation, or poor ovulation and poor menstruations. Again, you need to know that mood changes are very real. It is part of it. They are valid and they are also biological. It is not a weakness or a drama. Okay, it is not. When you see some of these things, or when you have significant others explaining to you, you shouldn't feel so sad, or don't feel so worried that you are talking too much about your menses. Are you the only person going through this? No. We need to validate it for them. We should let them know that this is very real. It can happen to anybody, and the fact that you are going through doesn't make it a weakness, but rather is a strength indicating that you are growing very well. Now, what do we need to know? We need to know the difference, the PMS versus PMDD. So the PMS is simply premenstrual syndrome. So those are the signs and symptoms that normally occur before your menses, pre. And those affect up to about 75% of people who menstruate. So that premenstrual symptom affects a lot of people. But because we don't talk about it openly, it tends to, kill us in silence. And then another thing too you need to know is that with the menstrual syndrome, there are mood swings, there are cramps, there are bloating, and then there is tiredness. It sometimes starts 1 or 2 weeks before your usual signs and symptoms, or before your usual period. And then symptoms ranges from mild to moderate. So for some people it's mild. I remember during my earlier stages of menses, that is 13 years, I realized that I feel so much pain, and the pain is super bad that I have to sometimes overtake certain medications to calm it down. Why was I doing this? I was doing this because I wasn't talking to any adult, any professional, or even any experienced person. I was keeping it to myself, managing it the way I think I will be fine, not knowing all those were premenstrual syndromes, that if I had paid attention to my body, I wouldn't have done that. And then another sign too is that it improves once your period begins. So sometimes it's so difficult, but when you start with the menses, the pain or whatever you are feeling subsides. And it can be managed with rest, diet, and exercise. So you can manage it very well if you sleep well, if you eat well, and even if you exercise, you're able to manage your premenstrual syndromes. Now we come to the severe premenstrual disorders. What happens? This affects about 5% of people who normally menstruate. So it is severe, making it a bit abnormal, is out of the norm. And what are some of the signs and symptoms within this range? When there is severe depression, it means that automatically every month before you during menses, you have to go low, low energy, not performing any activity, losing interest in pleasurable activity. It is not the best. Others also become so anxious, fear of unknown. If they don't know what is going to happen next, how do I manage myself? Who do I even talk to? And this may also affect daily functioning and school. So, like myself, the example I used, it becomes so bad that a day or two I will not be able to go to school because I need to take the medication to be a bit stable. And that's what a lot of girls normally go through. The severe stage will need a professional attention. It doesn't also mean that it will improve by itself, but gradually you need to see somebody who will help you. And like I mentioned earlier, don't keep to yourself because you may not have adequate information. I believe that from this section, we will learn and know that the severe ones need medical attention. If any severe symptoms interfere with your life, please speak to a healthcare professional so that they can guide you through very well to be able to enjoy your menses. Now, how do we maintain good menstrual hygiene? We all know hygiene is very essential to our health. And even as Christian, cleanliness is next to godliness. Nobody will like anybody who doesn't smell good or look good. And same in our menses. This is an area where you need to pay more attention to. So you wash daily. Yes, sometimes water challenges will prevent people from washing daily. But whilst in your menses, because of the bad scent that comes with it, you have to bath, wash your vulva with clean water, and please don't use any vaginal wash or antiseptic. Use ordinary clean water and bath at least twice daily. You also need to change your sanitary pad regularly. Because our bleeding differ, some may bleed faster and more than others. Know your pattern and know how often you need to change your sanitary pad. So for some people, between 4 to 6 hours, you have to change. Those who use the tampons to within 4 to 8 hours, you need to change. With those who use tampon, never sleep in the tampon because it is not the best. And then no douching. So those of us who normally insert soaps, vagina wash, and other products to keep the vagina clean, you should never do that. What happens is that it destroys your normal flora. You have a natural organism there that protects and fights any strange or disease causing organism. So when you use this vagina wash and antiseptics and other products, it kills them and exposes you to more infection. So you also wear clean underwear. There are people who normally wear underwear for a whole week. It is wrong. Try to change your underwears daily, your panties, your innerwears, and then prefer cotton underwear that can allow air circulation and then reduce odor and infection. Then proper disposal of whatever you are using during your menses. I've had sections where I ask students to dispose a used sanitary pad. And surprisingly, their way of disposal is even dangerous. So you need to learn the right way to dispose. You wrap your used sanitary pad in a plastic before disposing. You don't just expose the blood in the pan. And please never flush any sanitary pad or tampon because it is not good. It chokes the sewage. And then stay hydrated. So drink plenty of water. It reduces the bloating. It reduces the cramps. At the same time, it helps the body to also flush out naturally. So whilst in your menses, try to drink a lot of water. What are some of the common period products you can use? So now there is no single best product. Choose what is available, choose what you can afford, and choose what you are very comfortable with. Some people can be comfortable with tampon, others can be comfortable with any of the sanitary pad with specific name. It's about you. Choose which one works for you. and then go with it. So some of the things you can use a sanitary pad, you use it externally. It's very easy to use. It is widely available and there is no need to insert anything. All that you need to know is that it can feel bulky, especially when it's soaked with blood. So you have to change every time you feel that bulky in your pants. You can also use tampons, but we normally use them internally. So you have to be very careful whilst using it. Wash your hands before you insert. The risk is that when you leave it there for too long, it also leads to another medical condition. Then we have the menstrual cups. So they are reusable and you also use them internally. It is eco-friendly, it holds more and can last for 10 years if you take very good care of it. But what you also need to know is that higher upfront cost is very expensive and you require to learn how to even use it effectively. Others also use the period underwear. So with the period underwear, it's just like a sanitary pad, but it's reusable. You wash it. It's very comfortable. It is eco-friendly. And then you can even back it up with extra more reusable ones. What you need to know is that you have to wash it thoroughly with soap and water. You iron it, keep it well for the next use because it is very expensive if you get the quality one. And then we also have the reusable cloth pad. With that one, they are very affordable. You can use them for a very long term. And then it is also eco friendly and very, very soft. How do you clean it? You must wash it after use and then use clean water because you are saying washing, you don't just wash it with any available water, but with clean water because of what you are going to use it for. Now, how do we use sanitary pads? Again, I've had sections with students where when you ask them to use the sanitary pad, they tend to turn it upside down. Because of those two sides, they think that you can just position it anyhow in your panty. But there is a better way to do that. And before you use any sanitary pad, try to wash your hands with soap and water before you use them. Secondly, you have to unwrap the pad. So most of the times they come well wrapped. So you unwrap it, you peel off the protective paper on the sticky side of the pad. So there are papers holding the side of the pump, the side of the sanitary pad, and then the big one itself. So you need to unwrap that. And then after that, you stick it in place. So in place means you stick it comfortably in the panty you will use for your menses. Before then, you need to know that you can't wear the same panties when you are not in your menses. You have to have a separate pant, at least lightly colorful ones, blue, black, brown, black, red, and you keep them safe for your pant for your menses. So you press the sticky side firmly to the center of the underwear. Okay, you shouldn't turn it backwards. It should rather face you. Then you secure the wings. So currently, we have every sanitary pad coming with wings. The wing simply means that it supports the side of your panty. So if your pad has wings, fold them under the panty for extra security and leakage protection. When you do it very well, you are not going to soil yourself. Change your sanitary pads every 4 to 6 hours. I'm repeating this over and over again because we tend to have a lot of girls who soil themselves without even knowing. They will tell you comfortably and confidently that they have sanitary pads on. Unfortunately, if it soaks, then that is where they have their problems. So try to change it between 4 to 6 hours. Even if your flow is light, changing your pad regularly will prevent certain infections and bad odor. Another thing too you need to do is to wrap and dispose them properly. You can't just you throw sanitary pad anywhere, just like you are throwing pure water rubber or used rubber. But you wrap it in a rubber and then you put it in a bin. Never flush your sanitary pad. It is not too good. Now we talk about myth versus certain facts. Whilst growing up, just like my story that I shared, there is so much myth concerning menses. Some even believe that it is dirty blood and must not be seen by anybody. So this leads to the first myth: you cannot swim or exercise during your period. It is never true. When you use the right sanitary pad, like the tampon, you are able to swim and enjoy your swimming. The fact is that exercise is actually beneficial during menses. It releases the endorphins. So, endorphins are natural pain relievers, and this will reduce your cramps and improve your mood at every point in time. Another myth too is that period should not hurt at all. It is never true. The fact is that sometimes mild, cramping is very normal. However, when it becomes severe, when it disturbs your daily life, then that is when you need to see a professional. Another myth too is that you will lose a lot of blood and become very weak. The fact is that the average blood loss is only 30 to 80 mil. That is just like 2 to 5 teaspoons, okay, per period. So it is not enough to cause you weakness or lead to any medical condition. Another myth too is that the blood is a dirty blood and unclean blood. As for this one, even sometimes our educated parents have that in mind that this is a dirty blood. It is not good. No, the fact is that period blood is simply the uterine lining mixed with, blood that the body no longer needs. And it doesn't mean that it is a dirty blood. It is not dirty blood. It is a very good blood, but your body doesn't need it at that particular moment. Another myth is that menstruating women should not cook food, they will spoil it. Even in our current dispensation, we hear people say that when you are in your menses, you cannot cook. Somebody will tell you that it's in the Bible. Others tell you that it's a sacred moment, so you shouldn't do anything. You are sacrificing blood. And people even feel that the blood, when you put it in food, it turns people into another thing. The fact is, a woman's blood has no effect whatsoever on food or any person. It is a blood coming out from that woman. So it wouldn't have that effect on another person. All these are cultural superstition. They are not facts. We don't have any evidence to prove. We are only assuming that this can happen and we tend to spread it falsely. You cannot get pregnant during your menses. It's one myth, but the fact is you can get pregnant during your menses, especially those with the shorter cycles. So sperm can survive up to 5 days. So if you have a very short cycle, it is likely that the sperm can survive and swim into your ovulation time, and this can lead to pregnancy. Another myth too is that irregular period means that something is seriously wrong with you. No, the fact is many things affect our cycle regularity, like stress, like weight changes, sometimes illness. Irregularity is very common to some people, especially in our teenagers, because they have now started. The body is trying to process and get used to it, so it doesn't mean that there is something wrong with you. With time, it will become regular. Another myth too is that using a tampon or menstrual cup means you are no longer a virgin. No, virginity is not, virginity is about sexual intercourse. Using a tampon does not change virginity status in any way. These are only menstrual products that will help you to flow freely. So it will not break your virginity in any way. If that is what is available for you, please use it in peace. What does a normal period look like? So a lot of people keep on asking, how do I know this menstrual cycle or period is normal? First of all, we have a cycle length. So this is between 21 to 35 days. Like I mentioned earlier, some have 21-day cycle. It means every 21 days they will menstruate. Others have 35 days. So from day one of your menses to the next time of your menses tend to be 35 days. It is very normal. Period length in terms of the duration tends to be 2 to 7 days. So some have 2 days, some have 7 days. Blood color most of the times is bright red to dark brown. So it keeps on changing. And then blood loss is only 30 to 80 mils in total. Then there is also mild to moderate cramps. Those are normal. Sometimes you see small blood cloth occasionally during menses. Other times too, there is slight odor, not foul smell. What I mean by slight odor is you could smell a different scent during menses, but it shouldn't be the bad one that will raise a lot of concerns. Okay, so potentially concerning questions. Cycles shorter than 21 days or longer than 35 days, you need to see a professional. Bleeding lasting for more than 7 days, it also needs a professional attention so that they will screen you and assess you and then know whether there is something wrong and correct it a bit earlier. Soaking through pad in under 1 hour also needs attention. Yes, we bleed, but within 1 hour, if your pad is soaked, then it means you are over bleeding. Missing or more consecutive periods also needs medical attention. Yes, there can sometimes be irregularities, but the moment it tends to be more than 3 months, then you need to be seen by a professional. When the blood clot tends to also be very large during menses, you also need to see a specialist or any health professional. What I mean by large is that you can see a blood coin bigger and larger than a coin. The coins that we see, when you see your blood clot bigger in that area or that size, it calls for attention. When there is foul smell, bad scent coming out from your vagina, it also means that you need a medical attention. So when something feels off, when you realize that this is not usual, what do I do? When do you see those things? So you see a health professional if you experience any of the following things that I'm coming to mention. One, heavy bleeding that soaked a pad in less than 1 hour. When there is no period for more than 3 days. When high fever during your periods, especially those who use the tampon, it could mean a sign of toxic shock syndrome. When you bleed in between your periods, so this is when after your period, you still bleed in between, and sometimes during sexual activity, there is bleeding. It means that something is not too well. When there is severe cramps that does not respond to any medication or it stops you from your usual function, it means that you need to see somebody, a professional, because something feels off about it. When there is an unusual discharge, so the discharge color could be green, it could be gray, it could be thick, or sometimes with that bad smell. And then periods that are getting progressively worse over time. So today you do 2 days, the next time you have 4 days, another time you have 6 days with severe pain, and it keeps on progressing. It means that something is feeling off about it. Then, when there's extreme mood disturbance that feels so uncontrollably with every cycle, it means something is not too well about it and you need an attention. What are some of the conditions that may affect your period? So at the medical area, we have few conditions, and these are real and they are diagnosable conditions, not dramatic reaction. You need to know the difference. When there is dysmenorrhea, so when we talk of dysmenorrhea, it simply means that there is painful period that is normally caused by one of the hormones I mentioned earlier on. That's the prostaglandin. When it goes high, when it is high in your system, it means there is going to be more pain. Then when we have another condition too is the PCOS. So that's the polycystic ovary syndrome. As for this one, it's more of a hormonal disorder that causes irregular or you missed your period, or when there is excess hair, acne, and difficulty conceiving, you need to see a medical doctor because it's a condition associated with menses. Then we have anemia. So those who normally bleed heavily, they tend to lose a lot of blood. And this is where at some point in time there was the introduction of the gift giving folic acid to the adolescent girls in our schools just because it will help with anemia. And then we also have endometriosis. So, with the endometriosis, this is where the uterine like tissues grow outside your tissue. Okay, the uterine like tissues. So, these are tissues that are supposed to be in your uterus, but there is a like grown tissues that normally grows outside your uterus, and this normally causes severe pain, heavy bleeding, and sometimes possible fertility issues. So, our young people who normally suffer from these fertility challenges, when you go deeper into them, they tend to have conditions like this. We also have amenorrhea, so the absence of periods. This can be caused by extreme weight loss, stress, when there is excessive exercise, or even hormonal conditions, especially the imbalanced type. And then another common condition that we normally see is the uterine fibroids or the polyps. So these are non-cancerous growth that normally can cause people to bleed very heavily, when there is also sometimes severe pelvic pressure and irregular periods. We have a lot of African women between the ages of 35 to 50 coming to the medical facilities or to the clinical area with some of these fibroids. So those are conditions associated with them. Now we are moving to self-care during period, and then how to even seek help. First of all, apply warm heat pack or hot bottle to your lower abdomen. I heard my lady Jennifer saying that they will be sharing hot water bottles to our young girls. Reason being that because of the pain, you can use that hot water bottle to help minimize it when you place it very well. Another thing too is to do light exercise. So you do brisk walking, you can be stretching, and this will help to relieve some of the cramps. You need to eat rich iron foods. So, for example, eat beans, green leafy vegetables, eat a lot of meat so that it will help to replenish the lost blood. You need to reduce your salt and sugar and caffeine intake during your menses. Reason being that they normally worsen bloating, so you need to reduce them. And then rest when you need to. Your body is working hard. In your menses, there are so many changes happening biologically. So that stress on the body will need rest. And so you need to rest when you get the chance to do so. And then track your cycle and symptoms every month. A lot of people don't know their cycle. You tell them and they tell you, oh, it's likely I'll menstruate in the next 2, 3 days, but they can't tell you the specific date. If you know your cycle, you always carry your pad along so that the moment you feel the sign, you change over and will not feel ashamed of yourself. Talk to a trusted friend, an adult, or even a health worker when you see certain changes that is not so normal. When do you seek help, and even who do you seek the help from? You can talk to a nurse, you can talk to a midwife, a school counselor, or even trusted adults. All those people can help you based on their experience and background. What do you say to them? You tell them that your periods are very painful, they flow heavy, you have irregular menses, and sometimes this worries you. Sometimes this worries you. You have to ask certain questions like, may I do any physical exams? Can you do any blood test? Or even if there is the need for referral, you tend to do that. How do you get this right? You have the right to you have the right to perceive your private, you have the right to be respectful, and then you also need not to be judgmental, especially people who are young ones come to you through trust. Please don't judge them. You are not the only person who is menstruating. Sit somewhere. You are worrying me with this menses. When you make statements like that, it discourages them from talking to you further and disclosing any irregularities in their menses. You shouldn't feel ashamed of yourself. So, seeking help is very wise and courageous. And knowing that periods are normal biological processes, it really matters to you. It shouldn't be a secret. Don't keep it to yourself. But when you keep it to yourself, you tend to do the wrong thing. Now, let's check what we learn. At the end of the day, you need to answer true or false or discuss with your group these questions so that you know whether you are on track with your menses or is the menses that is rather tracking you. Our first question is day one of your cycle. Is it the first day you bleed? If it's true or false, you can put the answers in our chat box so that we can see. Period blood is dirty and can contaminate food. True or false? You let us know. Severe cramps that stop you from going to school are normal and need no attention. You need to also let us know true or false. Then you should change your pad at every or at least every 4 to 6 hours. True or false? You can get pregnant during your period. True or false? And then mood changes before your period are caused by real hormones. So the answers are already there for you to know. So day one of your cycle is the first day you bleed. It is true. Period blood is dirty and can contaminate food. It is false. Severe cramps that stop you from going to school are normal. It is also false. You should change your sanitary pad 4 to 6 hours. It's true. You can get pregnant during periods. It's true. And the mood changes before your period are caused by hormonal changes. It is also true. So you are more than your period. That's my closing remark. And your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do. You deserve accurate information. That is why Teresa Naomi Foundation is giving you this information so that you learn from your past mistakes and then correct them and teach other people who will need your help, not shame or silence. Always speak up when something doesn't feel right. Seek care, track your body, and support those around you. We are so grateful for making time to listen to us. Keep learning and let's keep growing together. I remain your mental health practitioner, Gloria Sarkodie Adu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. God bless you. It's been really insightful, and thanks for the knowledge and also the experiences you've shared with us. So one thing, I think two things that I learned is one is it's normal if you have your menses twice in a month, because I think I've ever experienced that before, and like I was a bit worried that why is it that way? And I had to actually read about it, and I noticed that okay, it's possible because I had it like the first week of the month, then the second one came like the last was the last week of the month, and when I calculated, it was like normal. So thanks for that and for letting the audience know about that. And also one another thing that I also got is when a woman is not able to conceive, it means she has an underlying fertility issue. It doesn't mean she's a witch, or it doesn't mean she's eating her unborn children. It probably means she has an underlying fertility issues. So thank you so much, ma. God bless you. And we'll move on to the question and answer sessions. If you have any questions, kindly drop it in the chat box for Madam to answer. So I have a few here that I would like to read. Okay, so the first one is, at what point do we know that the symptoms are not normal?
All right. So at a point where it becomes so severe that it discomforts you, it interferes with your daily activities. For example, if you have to go to school, you have to stay home because of the severity of the menstrual pain. It tells you that no, it is abnormal, a point where you are even overflowing. What do I mean by that? Within 2 to 5 days, it is within the normal range. But the moment you go off board over 8 days, 9 days, 10 days, it means that you need to, seek for medical attention because it is not a norm.
Thank you so much, ma. So the next question that we have here that somebody asks is, at what age do we start speaking to our girl child about menstruation? Because it seems recently, I think most of the young girls, they experience their menses at an early age. So at what age do you think we should start educating our young girls? Thank
So
you.
from age 8 years, you should start talking to your girl child about menstruation. Reason being that we have some of the girls as early as 8. So if you don't talk to her about it to be her safe space to open up when she sees the blood, then it means you are losing that child to friends or anybody who will advise her. So I believe from age 8 years, you can start talking to your girl child.
Then there's another question here which says, why is it that some girls experience menstrual cramps and others don't feel a thing?
Okay, so those are biological individuality. Reason being that I'm different from you. My genetic makeup is different from you. My biological processes may differ from you based on even the food I eat, the kind of medication, the environment, the stresses I go through. So it differ, yet some people will automatically go through different painful cramps and others will not go through because of individual differences. And then the hormonal changes as well. Some have higher levels of hormones, others have the normal, and others have even lower. And in my presentation, I mentioned that when you release more of the prostaglandins, the more severe pain you go through. So, individual difference and then hormonal imbalances.
Okay, thank you so much, ma. The next question is, what's the cause of the stop of menstrual flow when you take painkillers? So apparently, some people, when they take painkillers during their menses, the menstrual flow tends to stop or it reduces. Does it have like a negative effect, or does it have like an effect in your body, or
So,
what causes it?
all right, so the medications are made up of various chemicals. Some of the chemicals have effect on the hormones influencing your menses. So when they affect the release of those hormones, it can lead to low or even stoppage of the menses. I've had countless people who come to the hospital to complain that the moment they feel pain and they take the pain relievers, they realize the menses stop. So sometimes they get scared to even take it. Yes, it is the chemical base of the medication you are taking that is affecting the hormones to its imbalanced state, mainly reducing its production.
Okay, ma. So just to add up to the question in my own way, is it so would you advise we should stop taking the painkillers, or what should we do, or that particular painkiller? Because I feel sometimes the blood is supposed to flow. So if it doesn't flow, then it means it's going to cause something in your system. That is if I'm right though. So I feel like okay, you should let it flow because it's supposed to. So you shouldn't take the medication if it's going to actually stop it, so that you don't have any health issues or fertility
So
issues.
those are also part of the myth that is going around. Some people even feel that if the blood is not coming, it is accumulated somewhere and one day turn into a different condition. No. So the medications will have effect on the hormones, like I mentioned earlier on. And it is the hormones that trigger the consistency of your menstruation. So when medications affect them and it reduces, it means that the triggers are going to be lower than usual, and this will affect the flow of the menses. You get it? So it's advisable that if you are feeling so much pain and you need to help yourself, you can use other means. Either you divert your attention or you use the hot water bottle, wrap it in the what we call face towel, put it on your abdomen. At least it eases some of the pain instead of taking medication. Okay, it will help the blood to flow freely. It doesn't have any extra side effect. It doesn't even have any side effect by reducing your menses low. So if it's a pain that you can manage, please manage, divert, do a little bit of exercise, because the exercise even help to reduce some of the cramps. So if you can do a brisk walking to aid that pain, I think you should do that. Use hot water bottle. And in extreme cases, you can only take the very simple pain relievers. And even with that, it shouldn't be a consistent something. So once in a while, if the pain is severe, you can take ordinary paracetamol at your age and then the dosage that you can accept.
Thank you, Ma, for the explanation. And the next question is it advisable to use traditional medication for menstrual cramps? I think some people, someone is saying when she was growing up, her mom usually perform this kind of local medicine with the wood. Is it like the trees, the bark with alcohol, like akpeteshi, then mix it, then she takes to help
Hmm.
ease the cramps. So is it advisable to do that?
Okay, so from my medical point of view, we are not writing off our old traditions, but all that we are saying is that let's get it right. Mixing herbs with alcohol to help menstrual cramp, it's not the best. It's not the best, with the reason being that it means that automatically every month you have to take that alcohol to be able to run away from the pain. What is the measurement of alcohol are you taking? Is there any fixed measurement? Are you taking a thought? Are you taking some quantity? Are you taking above what is even expected in your system? And we all know the effect of alcohol. They are psychoactive substances. If you don't take time, you become addicted to it, and it can become so bad to the extent that at every point you will hide behind your menstrual cramps and then you take alcohol. From my medical perspective, let me share this story. We are having a lot of young ones, especially those in the medical field, abusing what we call pethidine, with the reason being that they have painful cramps. So when they take the pethidine, it's an injection. When they take it, they tend to be okay. No, at the end of the day, they become addiction. They become addicted to the medication, and then they stop doing the right things and always misusing that pethidine. What again do I want to tell our young ones of today? Too much of everything is bad. So, yes, we are not saying tradition is not good, but all that we are saying is that let's use a better approach and a better method, because we don't have the dosage right. I can use a big cup to take that medication. You can decide to use a whole glass to take that medication. Another person can use a big bowl so that he or she can be relieved earlier. We are causing more harm than good. So please, our traditional mothers, our parents, we really appreciate all that you are doing. But please, let's get it right. Times are changing. So let's speak to the right people so that the right intervention will be put in place for them.
Thank you so much. So we have two more questions. I don't know if we have other questions, but so far what I have here. So the next one is what causes delay in menses for like 5 days and more?
One, if it is not pregnancy, it could be the hormonal imbalance. If the hormones are not balanced, it can lead to delay of your menses. So if you are very sure of yourself that you've not had any sex and this could lead to pregnancy, then you are okay. You don't need to worry. But if not, then it is hormonal imbalance. Even sometimes the food we eat, certain medications we take can all contribute to delay in your menses. At the young age, those are the basic things that can cause delay. And others too may not study the cycle right. So in their minds, they think that they are expected to menstruate on this day, and then it stretches to add additional days. They tend to get worried that no, my menses didn't come at the right time. No, let's get a cycle right. Let's eat very well. Let's know what is happening within our system so that you will know whether your 5 days absence is even normal or not. Sometimes it could be normal, just that you are not aware. So you might think it's abnormal.
Okay, so this particular question has to do with mental health. In Ghana, do we really take mental health serious? Because when we hear about mental health, the next thing is the person has psychological issues. Maybe the person is mad or something. Do we? Is it something we really take serious in Ghana?
Okay, so like you started, because of stigma attached to mental health, people don't want to hear anything about mental health. But thankfully, we are trying to change the narrative. So there are a lot of awareness creation on mental health condition, and people are now taking the necessary steps to be responsible for their mental health. Initially, it wasn't because of the stigma, but now things are changing. Just like what you have done, how can we relate menstruation with mental health? But you have managed to bring this together and we are talking about it beautifully. So I know that with this change narrative, people will still becoming more interested in their mental health than previously.
Okay, ma, the last one I have here. Someone is asking, how do you know the right pad to use?
Okay, this is a very I don't want to say difficult question, but I'll try and answer. The right part is which one works for you. So some of us are very hypersensitive to certain components within the pad. So when you use the pad, sometimes you feel this itchy, aside the itchy, the discomfort, sometimes even the position of the pad will not make you comfortable. When you realize some of these things, you are not supposed to use it at all. I'll use myself again as an example. In my earlier days, I was using the normal pad, but at a point, I saw that it wasn't working for me because I'm a heavy bleeder. And because of that, I really get soaked earlier until somebody introduced me to the tampon. My first time of seeing the tampon, I was like, hey, how am I going to use this? Is it usable? Look at this small thing. How is it going to even absorb my blood? But thankfully, after using it one, two, three, I realized that wow, this is the most comfortable thing I have ever seen when it comes to menstrual pad. Until somebody is also talking to me about the cup. So I'm yet to explore that. All I'm saying is that is about what works for you. Up till now, I have friends that when I talk to them about the tampon, they tell me, no, there is no way I can use this. I would just feel so uncomfortable. So psychologically, they have not even accepted that this can be a solution. So please try all the parts available, try all the um, hygiene product for menses and see whichever feels better for you. The one that works well for you, that is what you go for. And trust me, you will enjoy every bit of it.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm done with my questions here. Nuruddin, please, do you have any question from the other social media platforms, please, before I proceed?
Hello. Thank you very much, Lion Gloria. This has been very, very insightful. Jennifer, I believe you have taken up all the questions. Unless if there's any other question, please you can share it with us in the comment section. You can also follow Lion Gloria Sarkodie on all the social media handles. DM her with your questions, and she's more than willing to respond to them for you.
Okay, so let's just give 1 minute. If we don't have any questions on the chat box, then we just proceed. We are far behind time. I didn't see questions from the men.
It's 7:30.
I'm on Zoom.
Okay.
Samson Okoro.
All right. So as we are trying to wrap up, just remember this: taking care of your mental health is very, very important. And menstrual health also should never be something you should be ashamed of to talk about. And let's continue to educate ourselves, support one another, and break the stigma together. On behalf of Naomi Girl Power, Teresa Naomi Foundation, and Lion Gloria Sarkodie Ado, we want to say thank you all for joining us today. We hope you learned something valuable and feel more empowered living this session. Stay safe, stay confident, and amazing every day. Thank you so much, Ma, for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you
This
so
has
much
been
for
really
having
insightful.
me.
Yes. Thank you all for joining. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you and bye.
Bye.
It was a live hey, Yofi game for
There is something that you can ask it any question.
Here we go. Hey, oh, hey, oh. Oh, na, 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 na. Oh, na, 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 na. Who am I that you are mindful of me? I am nobody, but you listen to me. Brand new mercies every morning I see. Oh, happy day, you have taken my sins away. Lord, you set your love on me, set your love on me, and you shine your light on me, shine your light on me. Lord, you set your love on me, set your love on me, yeah. And I can say that I am blessed. Adonai Yeshua.
Hi, good evening. My name is Wahab Nuruddin. I'm the president for Teresa Naomi Foundation. Today happens to be day 4 of our stay here in Wokoi. Over the past few days, we've been working on our IT and library projects. today is just the day before the grand finale, so we decided to entertain ourselves with bobobo and movie nights. We've had the bobobo section already. Behind me, as you can see, we are having the movie